Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to the Philippines. We are doing some relief operations today to Siargao, and we're going to be blurring the lines a bit between reality and simulation because I really want to make this kind of an awareness campaign for the recent disasters that have been happening here in this region. So I'll share more details, but first, let's go and discuss. We are going to start off in Ormoc, Romeo Papa Victor Oscar, making our way to Siargao. Romeo Papa November Sierra, that's over here. This is the Philippines, so we are somewhere in the central region, what we call Visayas. And we'll be taking some stuff with us, some people with us, and they can see this is Skypark, what I'm using here as the economy app. I'm not really making any money, and that's actually kind of realistic because we're not here for profit. So we're really losing money here, but we are here to provide relief operations to help out as much as we can. So let's go ahead and pay that. Let's begin it. Let's plan the flight. We are going to be carrying pharmaceutical goods today, along with some folks. Let's go and load that up. And also, let's see how that looks here. So we'll be carrying half fuel tanks here. That should be more than enough for our current flight plan, which is only 100 miles. Over here, we have this cargo bay at the bottom, the cargo pod, which we can fill out by just adding some stuff there. You can see the cabin kind of shaking as we add more cargo. And some of you guys have asked me, how do you make the center of gravity window appear when you make the fuel appear like this? Nothing is showing, right? The center of gravity. Just extend it and it will show. It's a bit sneaky. But yeah, for me, myself personally, I do like it small like that. Yeah, that does help with the visibility. So when I load stuff, for example, let's go inside the cabin here. As I load people in, as they get on the... And yes, this is included in the Kodiak 100. You can actually have people boarding the plane, and this is like a mixed variant, so we can have people and some cargo in here like that, right? Oh, that's too much already. Let's maybe cut it in half, 150. All right, that's okay. 7,000 out of 7,200. Pretty heavy. How do we look in terms of center of gravity? Yes, we are a bit aft, a bit to the back there, but we are within the limit. 40% is the limit. We are at 31%. That's good. That's good to note though. So in case we need to, well, we'll need to adjust our trim accordingly. Yes, let's go and close that up. Let's go and position ourselves here. Close the doors as well. Open the window because it is super hot in here at the moment. Let's go ahead and turn on the battery, avionics. This trick, guys, in case you have not seen my previous video, suffering FPS because of my CPU main thread, this standby indicator is pretty heavy on FPS on the CPU. So you can see if I go here, right now I have 40 FPS. If I pull that circuit breaker out, standby attitude, this one where my mouse is, it goes up to 55, 56. So that's 15, 16 FPS gained just by turning that off. That's for my rig. Your mileage may vary, okay? So it's very system dependent. All right, let's make sure that we have our fuel tanks on. Push that in. Make sure everything is set here. Yes. Idle, feathered, cut off, flap 0. Looks good there. Okay. Looking good. Enable the MFD here in the Garmin. Let's just put in a direct to Romeo Papa November Sierra. That's Siargao. And I'll tell you all about that place. Beautiful place that I wish I could have gone to, but maybe eventually we'll get there. Yes, alright, there you go. Okay, we're going to be flying VFR today. I don't think we need to be flying IFR because the weather is so good outside. Let's just make that altitude reporting. Looking good. Alright. double check that Skypark is ready for us. Yes, looks good. Alright, let's hide that there. Turn on the beacon. Turn on the fuel pump. Turn on the ignition. First start of the day. Clear prop. Starter to low motor. You'll hear the beautiful sound of the engine. Once we get to at least 14% NG, move it to low idle. Monitor the engine instruments. NG is climbing, ITT is climbing. Looking good. We have a good start. Let's close that, it's getting a bit loud. Turn off the starter, ignition, aux fuel pump to standby. Turn on the, before we turn on the generator, let's go and push our propeller full forward. You'll see our NP, our RPM start rising a bit. You'll see the difference in the animation in front as well, and we should hear that's spinning a lot faster. Okay, turn on the generator, yes, and then the alternator. Amps are good right there. Alright, nice. Oh, there we go, starting to hear the propeller. Oh yeah, that's the sound. Alright, let's turn on the aux bus for our air conditioning system. 22 degrees would be pretty comfortable. I would be lessening the fan though, just for the sounds, so that it wouldn't be too loud. It would be minimal. Let's make sure we put that here towards us because it is super hot outside. Oh, just 25, not too bad. Alright, yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, we'll be using runway 36. That's going to be a let's see, 6 degrees on the heading. It's going to be runway 36. Oh, it looks like we have weather now. Interesting. Okay, that kind of changed, but that's good. Yeah, we should be able to handle that. We should be okay. What's our altitude going to be? 5,500 for today. Let me set that here, and we'll try to hand fly it as much as possible, because that's where the fun is, right? Right, go to engine inlet bypass as we're on the ground. Thank you, by the way, guys, for all the feedback. I enjoyed reading your comments and enjoyed the inputs that you were giving. Glad you enjoyed those that previous video as well. And yes, as I mentioned, I'm looking forward to doing even more. Alright, let's go ahead, turn on our nav lights, taxi lights, release the parking brake, apply a bit of forward trim, nose down trim. The more aft our CG, our center of gravity, the more forward that will be. In terms of rudder trim, let's put this a bit to the right like so. That should be more than enough. I did get an update for this plane. It's now version 1.0.4. Depending on where you got this plane from, you may or may not have the update yet, because some people are on holidays. Like I believe as of this recording, the official website, Simwork Studios, if you bought it from there or if you bought it from Orbix, you should have the update available already. But if you bought it from Just Flight, they are still on vacation, so that you'll have to wait a bit. But yes, they fixed the takeoffs and landing behavior, the P factor, so it's not that intense anymore, a bit more stable, so you don't need as much rudder trim. Alright, but still good, still wild if you don't behave properly. Let's go get pulse lights in here. Runway is clear, windsock is facing this way, so this is the correct runway. Let's do my checks. I noticed, because if you guys watch Missionary Bush Pilot, he has this checklist box up here, right? I don't have that, but what I do have is the Honeycomb Alpha yoke, which has a lot of switches that I'm not really using. I'm not sure if you can hear this on that one. Those switches, they're not mapped to any command from my end, but I do use them as like a checklist box. So I have 5 switches here, and I can use that for like GUMPS check, right? GUMPS like gas, so both selectors are on, that's pushed in. Let's turn on the aux boost pump. Gas is checked. Undercarriage not yet, because we need flaps 20, and make sure that the parking brake is released. Verify that we have flaps 20, that's checked. Mixture, not yet, because our condition lever is still in low idle. Let's go and switch that to high idle. So mixture is good. P for propeller. Propeller is in full forward. That looks good. And switches are mostly good. We have landing pulsing lights. Just lock the harness and switches should be good now as well. Nice. Turn around here. Align with runway 36. And you should be ready for takeoff soon enough. So that's how I do my checklist, using the GUMPS checklist with a bit of a checklist box improvisation here. So I have physical switches that I toggle as well. Very nice if you have something like that. Right, looks good. Should be ready. Okay, good. Pushing forward on the throttle. Make sure we don't exceed any of the engine instrumentations. Everything should be in the green. Looks good. Alright, that should be okay. Going beyond the NG there. Okay, there you go. Just pull back a little. Airspeed's alive. Using my rudder. Keeping it center. Let's try to rotate at 65. See how that works out. 65 knots, rotate. Just nudge it out a bit. Look at how much more stable that is. Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. I can actually make that even more stable if I rotate a lot more subtly. But if you're planning like short takeoffs, have a very short runway, and that's going to serve you very well. Alright, that is looking good. Let's wait until 400 feet and then let's make our turn. And I'll also start clearing my flaps. 85 knots, flaps 10. 90 knots, flap 0. Looks good. A bit hot on the ITT. Let's pull back the throttle a bit. There you go. Start turning here. Stay away from clouds. We are flying VFR, so we'll want to always stay away from clouds. In the US, the rules are 152 if I remember correctly for VFR flying. Stay 1,000 feet above clouds, 500 feet below them, and 2 statute miles away from them. So that's 152 to easily remember. I'm not sure if it's the same in the Philippines, but we can try, right? We can try our best to follow. Just stay away from them here. Continue climbing. Trim it out. Love the sounds of that trim. Alright, and then let me double check. Trimming for 100, 110 knots here for the climb. Applying a bit of left rudder trim just to center that slip indicator. Make sure we're not slipping. That looks good. Turning off or putting the standby there on the aux fuel pump. Turning off our pulsing lights. Looking good. Let's make our turn here. Stay away from clouds as we climb. Looking good. Double check here. 711 ITT. NG looks good as well. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. What I'll do now is I'll pull back on the propeller lever. You can hear the RPMs changing. I'm going to do that until we reach 2000 RPM, because initially we were at 2200. But for a climb, it's more ideal for 2000 RPM. So that's the RPM right there. 2020, 2010. A little bit more. 2000, there we go. Alright, 2000 RPM. Stay away from clouds, please, if we can. Maybe I should have planned this a bit better. Nah, it's okay. We'll make it work. There you go. Not too strict here, I guess. I hope. Right, looks good. Can unlock the harness here, so we get some room for adjusting for our seats. Bit too steep here, but I'm trying to stay away from the clouds, so we are losing a bit of airspeed. Yeah, I think we'll have to get into some clouds then. Yeah, let me just stabilize here, guys, and then I'll share with you more details on the situation here in the Philippines if you're not familiar. I shared a bit of that in the stream, in our Christmas stream special, where we did tons of giveaways. Hope you were able to manage to join that one. If not, no problem. But yes, I shared a bit there. But yes, I wanted to raise awareness, and also doing some flights here in the Philippines is always great, right? Perfect for displaying bush flights and landing at smaller airstrips, landing at smaller airports. Oh my goodness, the clouds are appearing right in front of me. See that weather changing. Okay, let's leave that there. Clouds aren't so thick. You should be able to go to normal. Engine inlet instead of bypass, go to normal. We are pretty much in the clouds here. We still have visibility outside, so that's good, but this is not ideal. Legally, I don't think this is the proper way. But don't tell anybody, okay? Alright, there we go. We're a bit clear now again. Just trying to climb as fast as I can. Cool. Alright. So once we level off at 5,500, I will try and trim it out. As always, I want to be flying in by hand. That just increases the immersion a lot more. I'll be stalling here in a bit if I don't adjust. 1 second, let's put the nose down a bit. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the weather is still a bit finicky. There we go, that's more like it. That's more like it. Good, alright. Let's align the heading bulb there. Release some of that right rudder trim. The more you pitch up, the more right rudder trim you need. And when you start leveling out, you'll need to release all of that. So you have to apply left rudder trim. Center it out. So it's really important that for this plane, you have that map to your keyboard or your yoke or whichever peripheral you're using. Alright, there we go. That's 5,500 right there. Beautiful. Yeah, pretty heavy clouds today. Yesterday when I was flying through here, it's a lot safer, a lot better visibility, but that's okay, we can make that work. Alright, let's level off here. In terms of fuel economy, where we would want it to be is around 1,250 feet. Foot-pounds rather for the torque. So I'm pulling back on the throttle. You can see the torque going lower there. Going back to 1250. That should be just a nice steady power setting for cruise. We can go much faster than this, but in terms of fuel economy, it might be the best balance between speed and fuel consumption. So right now, if you look at our instruments here, 1,250-ish to 78 pounds per hour consumption. It's not bad. And let's trim it out to 5,500. Looking good. Alright, so I'll try and keep it trimmed here. And yes, let me share with you what happened. So where we're going right now is Siargao. If you're not familiar with it, it's one of the islands in the Philippines that has gained tons of popularity through the recent years because of how beautiful it is. And of course, I'm Filipino, so I'm a bit biased, but I really believe that the Philippines has really near that top of the list, best islands, best beaches in the world. And Siargao is just a highlight of evidence of that. So let me show you. Right here is how Siargao looks. You see some photos, right? If you imagine a beautiful beach, islands, and for surfing or whatever beach activities, you can imagine those beautiful sights. That's what Siargao is. But yes, recently there was a very strong super typhoon, what we call it, and a lot of areas were affected. So let me show you that one. I believe it's this one. Yeah. So this is the Philippines. Right, this entire area right here, and this is the trajectory of the typhoon. It started off as a tropical depression here to the east in the Pacific Ocean, and as it traveled westbound, it started getting traction, so it became a tropical storm, and then a severe tropical storm, and then a typhoon, and then a super typhoon. So by the time it reached the shores of the Philippines, it has become a super typhoon already. And I believe at its peak, this is how it looked. So this is all from the PAGASA, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration. That's quite a handful, but that's the weather government body in the Philippines, PAGASA. So this is how it looked at the peak of the super typhoon. The signal numbers determine how intense the typhoon is. The higher it is, the worse it is. Yeah, the more powerful the typhoon is. And you can see at the peak here in red, you see Dinagat Islands right there, and where my mouse is actually Siargao. So it is the most badly hit area here in the Philippines, together with Dinagat Islands, and then the others are also very badly hit. Where we came from was here, where my mouse is, near Leyte. That's the area in Ormoc. Signal number 2, but still bad. Yeah, Cebu, Bohol, these are very familiar places for many of us. Maybe some of you as well if you've been here in the Philippines. But yes, this entire area was badly hit. And you see, yeah, that's how it looks. So literally, roofs have been flying off of houses, trees tumbling down, and actually, buildings just flying away. So lots of livelihoods affected, lots of lives lost, and quite sad actually, especially these days, right? With the pandemic restricting businesses, and then as people start to recover, then this comes. So not the best. So really, this flight is really a tribute for these people, trying to do our best here, raise awareness, because we do have a lot of organizations trying to help out. And an organization that I chose for this one is an organization that I have been donating to for more than 10 years now. It's called World Vision. It's focused on providing aid to children in particular, in families. And they also have something special here for the typhoon Odette. Odette is the local name in the Philippines. Rai, Romeo Alpha India. Rai is the international name of that typhoon. However you call it, though, it's still the super typhoon. So yes, if you would like to donate, if you have some spare cash there that you are willing to pitch in, I would highly recommend donating here, because I know that these guys, this organization, knows what they're doing. They'll be able to utilize that those funds properly. Oh my goodness, punch through some clouds there. Don't tell anyone. Alright, but yes, I'll put this link in the video description, and I'll leave it to you. No pressure, but in case you have some spare change, some extra funds, then you're thinking of where to spend it, then this might be a worthy cause. Let's help them out, right? Let's look at how beautiful that is, Siargao. I haven't been here yet, because before, during my time when I was discovering the Philippines a bit more, Boracay was the more known area. You might have heard of Boracay already, but Boracay was closed for a time because it went under renovation, things like this. And I think during that time it allowed other places to also shine, and Siargao was one of those places. So yes, let's help out, and thanks for listening. And back to regular programming. So this is why we're doing this relief operations, for both virtually and hopefully in real life as well, because they still need help. I have a friend who lives in Cebu. So Cebu was also hit by the typhoon. You saw that in the map a while ago. It was only signal number 2 though. But yeah, roofs were flying off. We see videos of people. They were able to record videos of themselves as the typhoon was going on. It was really scary. It was goodness. It's hard to imagine how intense it was. But yes, it really happened. And Cebu, which was only signal number 2, they suffered lots of infrastructure damages, so much so that they don't have electricity for more than a week now. At least most of them. It's slowly being recovered. I'm not sure what percentage is at right now. Maybe 10% of people at most have electricity. But that's like, Cebu is, you could think of Cebu as like the second capital of the Philippines. So it really is a developed city. And still, it suffered so much, and still it's hard at recovering. So how much more the smaller places, right? The less developed places. So they even have slower recovery time. So that's why we really need to help out. And this is the best way I can know of helping out. Flying virtually, raising awareness, mixing a bit of reality with virtual flying. So here we go. My goodness, it's a bit bumpy today, isn't it? Whew. Anyway, that's the part of the fun. Hand flying this and trying to manage this properly. I still haven't turned on autopilot because it's just so fun to hand fly this plane. But yes, I'll continue doing this, and I'll probably turn on autopilot at some point when I get tired, so that I can go sightseeing as well, take some photos outside. I'll bring you guys back when we're closer. In terms of the map though, Dinagat Island, I believe, is this one right here, 50 miles away from us, and then that's Siargao Island right there where we're going. So both of these two islands they're the really badly hit ones. So we'll see. Alright guys, catch you in a bit. Oh yeah, by the way, with the update, so I just turned on my autopilot. With the update, you can now actually adjust the brightness of the screens. If you're using the G1000 NXi, previously it wasn't working. Now if you move this dial here, this smaller dial, it actually brightens the screen. That's really a lot of help, and both in daytime and at nighttime, so you can dim it out as well. There is also something here about automatic MFD and PFD display. I just set it at auto, but yeah, I think that you can probably set the brightness in 2 places. Let's see there. If you change that to manual, change this out, yeah, it does change, right? You can also change it here, and you can also change it here, I think, if I'm reading that correctly. You know what, let's go back to auto here. There you go. And then if I change this, yeah, it's a different setting. So 2 settings for brightness to help visibility, and yes, definitely helps a lot. Let's have a look outside. Let's see how the weather is looking. If we can see some land at least. Beautiful. Beautiful. And the tail number, Romeo Papa, that's the tail number in the Philippines, and most of the planes here, civil aviation planes, start with a Charlie and then a 3 or 4 digit number. There's actually a Kodiak 100 with the tail number Charlie 511 that I was seeing in the photos. That's why I made this the 512. Very creative of me, right? But yeah, this is welcome to the Philippines, guys. We're here to do good, virtually and hopefully in reality as well. Goodness. Alright, catch you in a bit. I'll just enjoy sightseeing here and taking some photos. Welcome back. Getting closer. That's Dinagat Island right below us. That should be it. We seem to be right in the trajectory of this huge cumulonimbusy cloud in front of us here though, so I might need to reroute that a bit. Let's go to heading mode here. Just my heading, let's maybe move this way, right? Just maybe Something like that. A bit longer route, but a lot safer. Let's keep it that way. Let's not risk it. This is the proper way of flying, I believe. Keeping away from clouds as much as possible. With visual flights at least. But yes, let's have a look outside. Let's go and check. Here in the Philippines, we don't really have a lot of weather stations. I believe that the closest one to us here is already Cebu. Man, that looks amazing. Let's have a look. If you have which meter we're at. Yeah, I doubt we have anything here. Siargao is 43 miles away, so pretty close actually, but yes, all of these don't have weather radars. Yes, Cebu is the closest one. 010 at 6 knots. It's not going to be very accurate. It's 8 miles away. But at least the QNH should be close. 1014. Man, that looks amazing, doesn't it? 1014. Okay, let's see. 1015. Yeah, I guess. Just to be on the safe side. Alright, let's go to heading mode here. Let's go around those clouds. Let's not risk it. And let's continue sightseeing. Oh yeah, from here you don't really see any damage. But yeah, I imagine in real life you would be able to see them because trees were literally pulled from their roots. And we've seen so many photos where trees were just uprooted and fell on the electrical posts. That's one of the reasons really that caused the massive outage in electricity, because sometimes the posts themselves were broken, they fell off. Sometimes the trees hitting those power lines and whatnot. So all the combinations you can think of with super typhoon. But my goodness, look at how beautiful the Philippines is, right? That's just such a scenic sight. If we put ourselves here, like a GoPro here, right at the tail, looks almost too real. My goodness, that deserves a photo right there. Wow, this is amazing. Phew. My goodness, that valley below looks beautiful. Where is that? Let me have a look at the map here. Let me show you. So here's where we are. What we're seeing, this opening right here. I'm not sure what you call it technically, but yeah, there's like an opening. Here there are mountains. Let's go for the satellite view here. Yeah. So this is Little Nav Maps power. You can have different overlays. These are like the hills. And then in between there's like water. Malinao Inlet is what they call it. Malinao, okay. Nice. If you go for terrain, you'll see, yes, they are a bit elevated. Cool. Let's go back to default there. Nice, okay. And from here, I should be able to go direct to Siargao, enter, and then go to nav mode so that the autopilot will follow the magenta line again. Let's just make sure that I'm not going to hit any of these. I doubt it, but let's be extra sure. Zoom in a bit, go to map options, terrain, topo, go to relative. If you see any green, yellow, or red, that means you're close enough. He says here's the legend of how close you are to them. Yeah, those are mountain peaks, I would imagine. But over here where we're going, no real problem at our current altitude in terms of terrain. So nothing to be concerned about there at least. Looking good. Alright, I'll keep this up. Let's just do one more sightseeing below because that looks beautiful. The Malinao Inlet. Look at that view. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll be taking some photos here, guys. Looks like we have our thumbnail. Oh my goodness. Wow. Our passengers are doing good, I think. Not too scared at my flying. That's a very welcome change. Oftentimes they're really bracing the entire time. But no, we've started our descent here. This is Siargao Island already. And I'm hand flying it now. It's a bit steep on the descent there though. Look at that water masking. Beautiful right there. Get to see some of the beautiful sights here in the island, and as I weave my way around these clouds, I get to sightsee it a bit. We'll be stopping our descent at around 2,000 feet, just so we are at 2,000 feet above airport elevation, which is almost sea level. So we can overfly it, see how it looks, and then we'll join the pattern. Probably runway 01 based on the winds, if this doesn't change, but we'll see. Still a bit steep there. Let's shallow out the descent here a bit. Around 800 feet per minute would be the most perfect level. I've already turned on engine inlet bypass because we're getting low here, getting closer to birds, getting closer to clouds, so lots of possibilities for foreign objects getting into the intake. So let's turn on the engine inlet bypass to remove or prevent any damage to the engine in case that happens. Turn on our landing lights here. Go in pulse. I forgot to turn off my taxi lights. Wow. Okay. No harm, no foul. Right, looking good. This looks like a fairly flat, fairly cloudless area. Although the airport itself is to our right. I don't really see it yet. How are the winds like? Yeah, looks like a runway 01 is perfect. Okay, let's do that. So procedure, select approach. Let's do a visual 01. Let's just go for vectors. I'll vector my way manually. Yeah, looks good. Okay. Alright. That should then allow us to have a little bit of guidance with the approach to the runway in terms of vertical guidance and lateral guidance. Right, looks good. Let's start doing my checklists here. Well, still a bit early, I think. Oh, there's the airport. Yeah, there it is. That's custom, by the way. I downloaded that from flightsim.to. We have a couple of very talented and very nice guys over there. I believe they're fellow Filipinos, and they are making it their work to create these airports. So you can check it out in the video description. I have the mods list in there, which all of my mods should be listed. Start descending to 1,000 feet here. There you go, that looks good. But this one is by KML, I believe. KML 921. Nothing too fancy, but it does help a lot improve the scenery versus the default looks. Alright, so let's go on a right downwind here. Looking good. Let's start our checks. Gas. So we have selectors on. That's pushed in for the fireball, and our fuel quantity looks good. Let's turn on our aux boost pump. Yeah, gas is checked. Let me flick that switch. Undercarriage, and let's go start getting flaps 10 here. Parking brake is off. That looks good, and the rest will set later. Start descending here. Alright, mixture, yes, it's high idle for the condition lever. That looks good. Propeller, let's go and push that to full forward as well. Alright, looks good. And then switches. This might not be the best approach towards this airport because there are some hills here. Maybe a left downwind would have been better. Oh, that's okay, we can turn around here, no problem. And then switches, let's go and check switches here. And turn on our taxi lights as well. And our harnesses. Make sure we're snug and secure here. Looks good, so switches are good. So the only thing remaining, if I'm feeling my switches through here, is the U for undercarriage, because our flaps are not yet fully set. That's okay. That's okay. Right, so let's do a bit of an orthodox turn here. Should be fine. Get some bit away from the the airport. Let's go second notch of flaps. And start feeling the drag on the plane. Start making our turn here. Might not be the best approach. We'll see, we'll see. Continue descending. Man, yeah, look at these islands, right? There's the airport. A bit closer than what I want. That's okay. Let's go full flaps. Actually, where is the airport? Might be this one instead. Okay, let's follow that then. Right. Looking good, looking good. Bit high. No problem, we can catch up. Yeah, there it is. So we're like on our left base now. That's okay. Should be more than possible to land in this manner. Alright, so we have full flap. So undercarriage is also ticked. So I have all my checks for landing done. So I have my own checklist box here. Care of the Honeycomb Alpha switches. Something I can highly recommend to you guys. Do a GUMPS check at least. There it is. Okay, good. There's the glide path for us. We're a bit high, but we're catching up. A bit fast.
500.
500 feet, check. Looks good. We're a bit fast here. 88 knots is a bit fast. You can start slowing it down. Okay. Looks good. You can also see, because of the update, we hardly have the right rudder tendencies now. It's a lot better, a lot more manageable. There you go. It's looking good. Are those puppy lights? Might be, but they're a bit weird. No, might be just approach lights. Alright, that's looking good. Let's go and align it here. Start pulling back on the power. Just settle it. Look at the airport on the right, guys. Very good. Looks so handcrafted, doesn't it? And you have some palm trees here in front. Care of the Four Seasons mod. Very nice. Alright, looks good. Let's turn around from here. We should be able to manage that. Went back to low idle. So it's a bit easier to handle on the ground, not too fast. Clean up our flaps. Yeah, look at this as we make our way to the ramp here. Doesn't feel like a big airport at all, but the runway itself is very nice. Yeah. Hope they recover soon, and any help you can provide, I'll leave a link in the video description to that. Or if you prefer a different organization, that's all well and good. It's just hard selecting organizations because you don't really know which is an organization that really you're sure that you'll get they'll be able to use it properly, or it will really be used for relief operations, right? So that's the hard part for me. But yes, since I've been working with World Vision for a long time, fairly confident with their abilities to help out. That's why I can highly recommend them. Where are we parking here? Yeah, look at how customized this is, right? Super cool, super real vibes. Okay, that's our marshaller right there. Very nice of them. Let's go and taxi in. Keep it straight. Keep to the right a bit. Okay, it looks good. Oh, dramatic pause. I think I won't make it. Go a bit forward. Oh my goodness, why did I freeze? There you go. Okay, good. Final moments. Cut off. Okay, looks good. Everything good there. Turn off the aux fuel pump. Turn off the air conditioning. Nice. Let's open the windows. Cut off the engine fuel to the engine. 38% NG or less. Let's go and switch that to feather and enjoy the sounds of the engine spooling down. Beautiful. Right, NG close to 0, beacons off. Looking good, guys. Looking good. Nice. Right, let's start unloading stuff here. Alright. Let's see. Okay, that is good. Let's start delivering the pharmaceutical goods and start onboarding these passengers. They'll be helping out with the operations here as well. That looks great. Everything good. Oh, we still have something in the cargo pods below. Good. Okay, I think we're good. There we go. We earned something. But yeah, all in all, it was a loss in profits, but it was worth it for the help that we were able to provide here. Good. Alright. So yes, let's leave it there, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that video, and hopefully it was a bit of an awareness kind of thing. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to your comments as always, and catch you in the next one. Clumsy flying, and bye-bye.